When I was your age at school, I had a very hard time. I used to wear very thick glasses and people used to make fun of me. Do you know what happened to me because of that? Instead of playing sport at school, I used to play chess. Chess. Now, it might not be unusual for people in Hong Kong, but in Australia, Australians are very famous for sport. Swimming, running, basketball, tennis, football, all these sorts of things. And I couldn't play those sorts of things because of the fun I was getting every time I went near a field. I used to play chess and I became very good at it. But people still made fun of me because of that. It was quite difficult. Yeah, education is what it's all about. People have to be educated about people's disabilities and they're not going to make fun of them. If you don't have organisations like this that train people, that educate people, people with disabilities are going to get made fun of and their life is not going to be very nice. When I was in Form 2, I started having very bad eye problems and it meant that I lost almost 6 months of school. Now, in Australia, I'm not sure when you learn algebra and those sorts of subjects, but that's what it is in Australia. These are things that I've always been very bad at. I was very good at mathematics until all those problems. I lost the ability to, I lost the basics of learning about algebra and trigonometry and, so many mathematical things which affected my career actually because it meant that I was no longer interested in mathematics. I was so bad at it. I tried to catch up by recording all the classes that I went to because I couldn't take notes for quite some time. So I was going home and listening to the tapes every day. It was like going to school twice a day. I would go to sleep at midnight, something like that, and then wake up at 7 in the morning and go to school the next day. So it was very difficult for me. There was discrimination, I suppose, because I had to sit in special classes, catching up with the work that I missed with teachers, or the work that I couldn't see on blackboards or whiteboards, or whatever we call them. There wasn't anything like an Equal Opportunities Commission in Australia in those days. There weren't any rules which said that children could have extra time to do exams if they had difficulties. There weren't teachers teachers trained to help you. So it was a case of really sink or swim. You know what that means? That means if you can't do the work, you lose. And so my parents, they knew I had a problem. I don't think my father ever accepted it, to be honest. He expected me to be a carpenter like him or a builder or something like that. Obviously I couldn't do that. So I think it was difficult for my father, and because of that I was closer to my mother. She was the one who kind of pushed me, I suppose, more academically inclined. She was the one who made sure I went to school when I couldn't see. She was the one who made sure that I was prepared. I think that's very important. You've got to have family support of some sort. I like history, I like geography. My writing is very good. People have always commented, when I was at school I used to get top marks in English for writing essays or for speaking, those sorts of things. So it was kind of natural that in my senior years at school I did ancient history, modern history, I did German. My father was German. Geography, English. When it comes to university, going to university, you're quite limited in the subjects you wanted. Even when I finished high school, I had no idea what I wanted to be. But then someone said to me, why don't you try journalism? And it's like, hey, that suits me. I like reading, I like researching, I like writing. And so I did a journalism course at the local university. And when I graduated, the local newspaper offered me a job. And that's how I got into journalism. Whether I would have been given the opportunity to become an opinion writer, a feature writer, if I hadn't a proven ability to do that. And to be honest, why should I? If I'm unable to write a competent story, why should I continue to have a job? Really though, it was up to me to prove that I could do that. And it's through technology that opportunity has been given. A lot of my colleagues don't even know that I have a disability. Obviously they see my stick, but they are not so certain. They walk past my computer screen and they can see it's got words on it. They don't necessarily know that I can't see at all, I can't read, that I'm not actually reading that screen, that I'm using a speech synthesizer to read to me what's going on. So the fact that my colleagues don't know it implies to me that perhaps some of my bosses aren't aware how serious my condition is. And really it's not up to me to point out that I can't see or whatever. It's up to me to be able to do the job and to do it well. If I'm presented with a job, that's what employment is about. You're employed to do a job and you do it under whatever means you can do it. I suppose the SCMP is, South China Morning Post is understanding for employing me, but to be honest, my disability has not come into question at all. Because mobility is the most important thing for a disabled person, and Hong Kong is a very small place, very compact. Not many people have their own cars. Unlike in say the US or Australia or Europe, where having a car is an essential part of life. In Hong Kong, you've got public transport, and that's great for a person with a disability like mine. I can go anywhere, literally. People are very helpful. I'm not sure whether that's because I'm a foreigner. It may be, they may think I'm a tourist or something like that. But the reality is that sometimes I can't even cross the road by myself. I may cross that road every day of my life going to work, and somebody will come out and help me across it, and it's like, please go away. You know, I do this all the day, but you know, I guess eventually I just have to put up with this. People are very helpful, the transport system is brilliant. Hong Kong is a small place. Everything is available, easily accessible. It's a good reason to stay here. You don't find this in New York, you don't find it in London to such a degree. You certainly don't find it in Australia. I used to look at someone and judge them by maybe the way they are dressed, maybe the way they have their hair, maybe they've got a tattoo. Maybe they've got very long hair, you know, maybe they're wearing flip-flops instead of shoes. And I used to judge people very much like that. I can't do that now. I have to judge them by their personality, by the way they are towards me. And that can be very useful. I don't expect to be treated differently, but I expect people to understand. Well, it would be nice for people to understand.